Alright, welcome back. This is the part 2 of the North Metro Model Railroad Club update. We just left off a second ago, or in the last video, with that staging that's going to Y out in this area. As far as the shelving underneath, most likely will be mounted to the wall, not just sitting off the floor. That way we can level it perfectly. And then that would be about the width of it. Probably actually maybe even come out to about, I think it's 18 inches we've dedicated for staging on this yard. So staging will be here. As far as on this level, there will be a level built above this eventually, and this is going to be an entire, that will be the 18-inch stick out part, but that will be I believe it's the Monticello subdivision, and we will have access to that back around by the bathrooms and stuff like that, behind my children down there. So backing up here, we'll continue back with Staples. Behind, with that yard being in place under Staples, that's the connection. So this left track here will continue basically around, and we'll get to that shortly here, but that's the Hinckley sub. This upper track here to the left will eventually come around and start to climb on this one. And that goes all the way back to St. Cloud at the Staples sub deck height. So that is our one connection between both deck heights, but did both terminate in the yard underneath Staples. So coming back off the outside line, we have that Hinckley sub, and this train is actually sitting on the siding right here, but the main line would be out here. And then we'll switch over, and then this would also start the crossovers into the big mill up in Rush City. So I think there's 4 tracks inside the mill, and then, or 3 tracks inside the mill, and then you got the house track on the near side. The main line right there. So that completes going on through Rush City on the Hinckley, and then this is where the main track meets back, or the mill track meets back up. And then down over here, I don't know if I've showed this on one of the videos here, but I'm just going to explain this again. One of our members, John, built this thing out of basically a scratch built bridge. It's curved to the radius of our layout, and he spent many hours building this thing up, which it just turned out beautiful. I'm sure there'll be another video here with better lighting, but just with what we've got right now, you can kind of get the scale of this thing. It's a good, I would say probably 24 inches, 26 inches tall, probably at least almost 35, 36 inches across, and it's just, the detail on this thing is just phenomenal. So, but I'm sure this thing will definitely come up in more videos. It's going to be a great little scenic scene here. So definitely going to enjoy running on the trains over that thing. So carrying on, the upper track, basically these 2 tracks just came out of Staples. We've just been doing some running up to this point, and then they come into St. Cloud, which is our last big hurdle as far as track laying goes. We got all the industry tracks yet to lay. That St. Cloud cutoff, which would go back over and meet underneath Staples there. So that track on the upper, you can see coming across into this Y, and then it rejoins the main line. And going off to the other leg, which you would think would be the other leg of the Y, actually just goes into some businesses. So coming back into St. Cloud, then we got the downtown area. Depot will actually be on this side of the tracks, and then going from there we feed off into Becker. But before we do that, we're just going to cover back on that Hinckley sub This is basically the hidden track work below St. Cloud. And this switch right here is the one that will continue on over underneath there to where that Milwaukee Road passenger train is sitting. So that's just that temporary connection. Right about the tail end of that car there, that's where it's going to bend off into Duluth. So for now, just a little more added fun. And then basically this track going off to the left would continue to its normal Y location, which will actually be right there, and that track will go off to all the way underneath there into the helix, or just staying where it was attached over the other side of Brainerd there. So backing up, that's where the Hinckley sub just continues on this track underneath here. That would be the returning actually Y underneath St. Cloud, and then continue onto the bridge. So coming back through above now into St. Cloud and the staple sub, the Becker power plant. Nothing really changed, just needs to start the work on. So that industry is ready to go. On the far side, that industry is getting laid in, but it is not set up and ready to go. So we're still waiting on that. So we'll shoot back over on the other side to Cambridge. And going off from here, basically with Cambridge, everything has been laid down. So got the double track coming in, all the industries are in. And so that has all been placed in there. Going up to the upper level of the staple sub, we have the north side of Big Lake still has not been placed in, with the exception of that one industry. Continue around the curve. North Star Station has all been laid down, so some of the buildings can start going up there. Basically just more, we're going to try to get most of the track work done here before we really start doing any of the scenic stuff. So who knows, maybe we'll get the bug in us and actually start laying down a town or something. But over here, this is kind of the first area we started on, so everything's kind of already been laid down, nothing's really changed. And coming over to here, still a couple industries yet to lay down. So back up to the upper sub, we have the ILS locomotive works up in Bethel, still needs to be laid down. And then on the flip side, the Budweiser plant in Coon Rapids still needs to be laid down. So other than that, I promise you I will make a video of trains actually running. We're in the process of just kind of getting all the bugs worked out and the kinks before we fire this thing back up. But train movies will be coming, and we've had a couple, and some of the ones I have filmed before I'll throw up, and they're pretty neat to kind of see all the different trains moving around. So until then, we're gonna end this update off, and hopefully more of the operational videos will be coming soon too. So we'll talk to you guys soon.